Top stories this evening, sponsored by Courts, bringing value home. Indigenous folks should not use NTC conferences to make false allegations. Police shooting of 5 gunmen at Turkine. Police checking whether Army was original owner of the retrieved AK-47 rifle. Capping of illegal well at Dimond completed. Homes extensively damaged. Legal action mounted. And date for further talks between President and the opposition leader undecided. PPP has a problem with limited powers vested in the PM. HGP Nightly News begins now. Good evening to our viewers here in Guyana and online. I'm Travis Chase with the Thursday, July 26 edition of the HGP Nightly News. Here's what you need to know this evening. The administration is clearing up misconceptions about the name change of the community of St. Cuthbert's Mission. President Granger says he will not go against the wishes of leaders and residents of indigenous communities if they do not want to have certain historical changes made in their village. Kristen Macklingam reports.
A serious allegation was made against President Granger at the recently concluded NTC conference last week in relation to the renaming of St. Cuthbert's Mission, now renamed Pukuri Village. President Granger says that the allegation is unfounded.
To accuse the president of lying or failing to fulfill his word is a very serious charge. And I'm circulating this document to show Clinkin is here because she's from St. Cuthbert's and she knows what took place in that village. There was a consultation and some residents of the village were not in favor of the name change.
President Granger met with the newly elected NTC this week, where he had an official government document circulated concerning the decisions made about renaming this indigenous village. Mr. Granger says that for a president to have such a document circulated is very unusual. But in this case, he felt it necessary since this document is a report given to him about the Pukuri village and is one with which he is working.
So do not allow the podium, do not allow the forum, do not allow the council to be used for confrontational purposes. If there was a problem, a phone call could have settled the problem and an explanation could have been given. But do not pretend that something was decided when it had not been decided.
According to the president, it is not his role to dictate for St. Cuthbert's Mission about any official name change of that community. It's for the residents to choose what they truly want. He added that when residents of any indigenous community make their choice, and he is informed about it, he will abide by the decisions of those residents.
But it's unfair for any individual to use the podium of the NTC and to exploit the benefit of live streaming all over this country to make unfounded accusations. And when you read the paper produced by a government official, and if you want, you can ask to show Clinkin what took place in St. Cuthbert's. But I'm not opposed to any name change or any proposal for any name change by the indigenous community.
Reporting for HGP Nightly News, I am Kristen Macklingam.
Thank you, Kristen. A Diamond businessman could soon face the courts with more than 16 lawsuits amounting to millions of dollars. Find out why in this report. This is what that illegal well, which was drilled by a businessman at Diamond, now looks like. The Ministry of Public Infrastructure had weeks ago commenced the cleanup exercise at the 5th and 6th Avenue Diamond East Bank Demerara residence. The drilling of the well had resulted in an eruption of mud, water, methane gas, and damage to several homes in the area. Mitchell Prince, Senior Petroleum Analyst at the GGMC, was on site and confirmed that works have been completed.
Well, actually, we've controlled the gas. It's now coming through the pipes fully, and we're just doing the finishing touches for the area, painting up and so on, preparing to move off.
So we can safely say that GGMC's work is complete here.
At this point, what I've been given to do, yes.
Prince explained that workers had to run 2 sizes of casings into the ground where the well had been dug, the reverse of drilling as he refers to it. Prince said that 18-inch casings had to be used on the outside and 14-inch diameter casings on the inside. This was sealed around with concrete and a valve added. During the process of construction, the valve, as you are currently viewing, will be left open in order to vent and release the pressures. Meanwhile, the businessman's neighbors have mounted legal action against him since their homes were extensively damaged. Nightly News was given a tour of one of the damaged houses. The owner of that household, who requested anonymity, complained that the house is shaking and is sinking by the minute. The property owner claimed that it's dangerous to stay in the home as it could collapse at any time. The authorities did confirm that the businessman had no permit to drill the well. Travis Chase, HGP, Nightly News. After the break, police shooting of 5 gunmen at Turkine. Welcome back to the HGP Nightly News. The unprofessional behavior by members of the city police has caught the attention of the mayor and councillors of Georgetown, but the chief constable says he's unaware of reports of untoward behavior by his ranks. Yanis Abrams reports.
Mayor Patricia Chase Green has expressed her dissatisfaction with the manner city constabulary ranks are interacting with the public. The mayor told last Monday's statutory meeting of the council that there has been several complaints about the way ranks are carrying out their duties, especially at the markets.
The behavior of the constables on the streets, and time receiving complaints as to how they approach and they respond to people. Their approach is unacceptable. I know they got put on kit gloves and all of that to deal with the people on the road, but your manner of approach as a city constabulary representing this city ought to be one of done in a professional manner. And when people claim that they're going to complain to the town clerk or the mayor, their response is, me got time with the town clerk or the mayor. They don't run me show. That's their response. You go out there, the general public tells you that. The town clerk don't run me show. The mayor don't run me show. I don't know they got a show. If they got a show, it's a comedy show they got. And they need to be more professional from the top right down to the bottom.
Chief Constable Andrew Fu says he has not received any complaints by civilians concerning harassment by city constabulary officers. Fu said in most cases, accusations are made against the officers, especially by vendors, since the ranks enforce the bylaws. He explained that persons usually take situations into their own hands instead of filing a complaint at the constabulary offices.
The statute does not make provision for in terms of vending or itinerant vending on the streets of Georgetown. But the council has adopted what you call a flexible in terms of approach to allow persons to operate. And therefore, when ranks go there are times we have to enforce the law in keeping with complaints that are made by legitimate businesses or persons who may be using the pavements and who are obstructing, because these persons obstruct the free flow of pedestrian and vehicular traffic. And in so doing, those persons may now turn around and to make allegations of harassment. But my advice is that in terms of when persons believe that they're harassed, that they should come to the department and to make an official in terms of complaint.
Additionally, the Chief Constable emphasized that constabulary officers are not authorized to receive any money from vendors on behalf of the council.
I should provide some clarity that the constabulary is not in terms of authorized, we're not empowered to collect in terms of any fees. And from time to time, and I think there's some sort of in terms of confusion, in the past the constabulary would have conducted or would have been revenue collectors around the market. We no longer function in that in terms of aspect. That is now being done by civilians who are attached to the clerk of market office. And we would have had some in terms of members who would have since been in terms of what we call transfer their service to that department.
The duty of city constables is to act on any offense committed in any place vested in or under the control of the council or in any public place in the council area. Reporting for HGP Nightly News, I am GUYANESE Abrams.
Thank you, Yanis. Government says that its plan to build 60 houses in Wisrock, Linden by the end of this year will not be realized due to red tapes. But this initiative is on the table for 2019. Kristen Macklingam reports.
The dreams of Lindeners who wished to own turnkey houses in Wisrock Region 10 will not be realized this year. That much was conveyed by Minister within the Ministry of Communities, Valerie Patterson-Adams, when she addressed residents of Region 10 during house lot allocations on Wednesday.
We were hoping that that process would have been completed so that we can start this year, but it doesn't look that hopeful. So we are going to put that money back into 2019 budget to have those houses, and hopefully we can get all the red tape out of the way and begin construction.
Minister Patterson-Adams. Despite this setback, the government remains committed to having this project executed as soon as possible. The minister explained that the hold-up in this process is not the ministry's fault.
But I can also say that we are still trying to have the 60 houses built in Wisrock. We're still finalizing with the Co-op Society and Lands and Survey ownership of the land. As soon as that land is handed over to us, we're going to commence building.
Meanwhile, for those residents who were allocated house lots on Wednesday, Minister Valerie Patterson-Adams stated that they need to visit the banking institutions for their loans as soon as possible. This is what the banks want, she added.
The banks are asking us to do this early and not to wait for everybody to rush down there. So the earlier the better, and your loan is processed, the earlier the better. As soon as we build in batches of 5, we're going to begin to give the houses, give you your key to your house.
Reporting for HGP Nightly News, I am Kristen Macklingam.
On the police blotter, even though dead men tell no tales, police believe that the 5 men who were killed at Turkine on Tuesday had returned to the home they once burglarized. This is all being investigated while the source of the high-powered weapon recovered from them is being checked to see if, perhaps, it belongs to the army. Here's more. Following the gunning down of 5 men at Turkine on Tuesday morning, Timothy Sinthill, Levi Braffith, Andrew Daly, Ian Ford and Jermaine Dubé, police are set to be checking the serial number on that AK-47 assault rifle, which was reportedly found in possession of one of the gunmen. The source who spoke with Nightly News said a thorough investigation is being conducted and it is not yet completed. What the source pointed out was that investigators are tracing the weapons to see if they had been used in previous crimes, perhaps during the crime spree of the early 2000s. As it relates to the AK-47, investigators will be checking to see if that weapon is part of the cache of weapons that went missing from the GDF. 30 AK-47s along with 5 pistols vanished from the GDF's armory at the base camp in February of 2006. By 2010, 17 of the weapons which disappeared were found in the possession of criminals. The identity of whoever took the weapons remains an unanswered question, even though then Lieutenant Colonel Tony Ross, who was in charge of the armory at the time, was found guilty in May of 2008 of failing to effectively manage the Army's weapons store, resulting in the theft of the weapons. I'll take you back to May 7, 2018, when Colonel Umar Khan of the now GDF Military Criminal Investigations Department testified at the Lindu Creek Commission of Inquiry. Khan had testified that to date, not all of the missing weapons have been recovered.
But I want to state in February 2006, the Ghana Defense Force discovered the theft of a number of weapons. This triggered a number of events within the Ghana Defense Force. The loss of these weapons include the AKM rifle, which is an upgraded version of the AK-47. AKM meaning Aftermath Kalashnikov. It is an upgraded version of the AK-47. 2 months after, we had the first recovery of one of those missing weapons, and it was discovered in Melanie. I think 5 days later, we had another incident involving the use of high-powered weapons that use the same caliber of weapons. And if you all recall, it occurred in the industrial site at the Kaito News press production, where 5 persons were killed. Again, the police investigation revealed that 7.62 by 39 mm was used. On the 11th of that same month, we had the Rosal bank robbery, and again, we discovered that 7.62 was used. Interestingly, from that incident of the bank robbery, we recovered 9 AK-47 AKM rifles, of which 7 belonged to the missing GDF arms cache. So that would have bring to that time 8 weapons recovered from the weapons that went missing. On the 3rd of June, the one found in Melanie, and then the 7.
Police recovered the AK-47 rifle with 2 magazines which were taped together, a number of live rounds, and the 2 rifles and several house-breaking implements from the scene of the attempted heist. This image was released to Nightly News. It is the safe in the house which the gunmen were reportedly in pursuit of. Acting Top Cop Commissioner David Ramnarine had informed the press of how the men were killed after police got the 911 call.
As they arrived at the location, quite cautiously and tactically, 2 men were seen in the yard of the premises with rifles. Police challenged them. The men opened fire on the police, who returned fire. Both men fell. A 3rd man who was in the premises ran out from it and was caught in that exchange of gunfire, and he collapsed on the ground. Seconds after, a white motor car drove up. 2 occupants, 2 males, exited and opened fire on the police. Police took cover and returned fire. Both males fell. Close to the motor car, it was later found an AK-47 rifle with 2 magazines which were taped together, a number of live rounds, and the 2 rifles were found next to the 2 who had earlier collapsed in the yard.
Nightly News was told that the very house had been burglarized some time ago. Millions of dollars worth of valuables had been stolen. The safe, during that robbery, perhaps had been too heavy to remove from the house. Travis Chase, HGP, Nightly News. Dozens of health workers in Region 3, Essequibo Island, West Demerara, were told that while they are charged with providing quality health care for all, their sector can assist in fostering a unified Guyana. Kristen Mackingham reports.
Healthcare workers in each region need to be aware of the country's diversity and have a better understanding of the role that Guyana's health sector can play in providing solutions that can and will create a unified country. That's the message from Region 3's Regional Health Officer, Dr. Ravindra Dudnot, to the region's healthcare providers.
In spite of what race you're from, what ethnic group you're from, what religion, what creed you're from, what family you're from, let us come together, let us work together, let us attain good health, a good life for all in Essequibo Islands, West Demerara, with good health. And with this, we cannot do anything without unity. We must have unity.
The RHO addressing participants of a social cohesion sensitization workshop on Wednesday. Dr. Dudnot explained that in any sector, especially in the public services domain, there will always be limited achievements if there is no unity or cohesion among co-workers, employees, and those to whom they offer services. That's why he wants healthcare workers in his region to do more in providing quality healthcare while simultaneously promoting social cohesion.
We cannot achieve anything if we don't have unity. We are going to have our different opinions, but let us work with the vision of the region. Maybe this is the first time you're probably hearing the vision for the region, but the vision for health services in the Essequibo Islands, West Demerara, is to have a good life. And in order to have a good life, we must have good health.
Additionally, Region 3's Regional Education Officer Esther Douglas stated that a part of the Department of Education's mandate is to promote tolerance and empower its officers in this regard. She added that workshops on fostering social cohesion will not only help health officers, but persons employed in educating the nation's children.
And I feel this workshop will empower our officers and our teachers to better promote tolerance in the schools and across the region. Activities which were done, they're aimed at promoting cohesion among religious persons, among the students from different backgrounds, races and culture. And so I feel it will definitely help to bring cohesion among our learners, teachers, and education officers.
You're watching the HGP Nightly News. The leader of the opposition is concerned that engagements with the president will not be fruitful. He sees stumbling blocks deliberately being placed in the way. More from GUYANESE Abrams.
Opposition leader Barra Jagdeo says discussions with the party's executive members about the topics provided by President David Granger was postponed due to the upcoming local government elections. Last Thursday, the president engaged the opposition leader on several issues, and President Granger indicated that he is willing to discuss oil and gas, the environmental sector, and crime and security. Mr. Jagdeo pointed out that the topics will be discussed among the executives of his party, and he is to suggest a date for the next engagement. That was not done, so a date has not been set for further dialogue. He said the PPP is in campaign mode for the LGE in November, and the president indicated also that the People's National Congress has Congress in August. He expressed concern about the follow-up meetings.
A number of people have been calling me and saying that there is a pattern. So every time we want to talk, like I meet the president and there is some kind of feeling that we will progress to another stage, that some issue always comes up. And they showed me, like in 4 cases, just after the meeting with the president, Pradoville comes up, and I heard it's coming up again. So I don't know, the suspicion is that Nagamutu and Ramjatan and the others and the AFC keeps trying to stir these issues up every time you have indications that there may be talks, that to muddy the waters again, because they believe that if there are talks between particularly the main parties, the PPP and PNC, that they may be irrelevant, sidelined, etc. There is that feeling.
Additionally, the opposition leader said that in the international community, the view is that the People's Progressive Party refuses to engage with the government once the administration's team is led by Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu. He refutes that perception, saying that the PPP has a problem with the manner in which Prime Minister manages his responsibility and the PM's perceived inability to make binding decisions on behalf of the government.
And in the PPP, that is not our concern. Our concern is about his ability to commit the government, the coalition, or the PNC to anything he discusses. That he is seen as a lightweight, and that is evidenced by the fact that he does not have a substantive portfolio, contrary to what was provided for in the Commingsburg Accord. And so, will he be able, the president could have easily said, no, I'll vest him with the portfolio, or I'll vest him with the powers, and you can rest assured that whatever he says there, we will agree to. And the president chose not to. The president said before I finished speaking, he said, if you have a problem with that, I'll lead the talks.
Mr. Jagdeo said if anyone threw the Prime Minister under the bus, it was not the PPP, since the party did not demand the PM's removal from the dialogue. Reporting for HGP Nightly News, I am GUYANESE Abrams.
Although the country is facing economic challenges in light of dwindling market prices for Guyana's exports, the government is planning to provide increased subvention for the National Tushaus Council. Here is Kristen Macklingam.
The administration is cognizant of the fact that there needs to be development throughout all indigenous communities. And while the government's purse strings have been tight, it's not because of choice, but the reality of the economic situation that the country is facing. That's according to President Granger.
We have a very big problem. We have a problem with gold declarations. We have a problem with bauxite. These are not problems that the government made. These are problems in the world market. You can't sell bauxite, in Fumatimari. You can't sell bauxite in Kopinan. You have to sell bauxite in the world market. You have to sell sugar in the world market. So some of the international market prices have been very unfavorable, but we will work towards increasing the subvention.
President Granger addressing members of the newly elected NTC about concerns raised by Tushaus during the NTC conference last week. He says that his administration is doing what it can to help the indigenous communities by increasing subventions in the near future.
People who work, we our hearts are in the right place. We're going to work towards it. But look, let me tell you the truth. I don't like to cry, but we took a heavy beating with sugar. We were spending about $1 billion a month just to bail out the sugar industry. And no country can produce sugar at 50 cents a pound and sell it at 25 cents. You're going to lose.
According to President Granger, this month is the start of the annual budget cycle in Guyana, and it is expected that the NTC will provide its budget to the Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs very soon. This will help the government to determine how best subventions can be increased in a timely manner, the President added.
We present budgets now in November. We don't present budgets in February or March of the next year. We present budgets in November. So it means that you have August, September, October. You just have 90 days or so to get your budget ready. So if you're applying for an increased subvention, you have 90 days.
Reporting for HGP Nightly News, I am Kristen Mackling.